Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I am Malsha Dharmavardhana.
And I am Lakshit Edirisinghe. We start off tonight's bulletin by taking a quick look at the headlines.
Litro and laugh grass prices decreased. Parliamentarian Vadivel Suresh says that both the government and the Plantation Employees Association are responsible for salary hike of estate workers. Distribution of rice among low-income families is successfully underway. Measures have been finalized to start the second stage. State Minister of Finance says Sri Lankan Rupee have become the most rapidly developing currency in the world. Turkey has suspended trade relations with Israel.
On to those and other stories in detail. We start off with the top story tonight. Mavanella Zahira College has contributed 3.3 million rupees to the Children's Fund in Gaza. The donation cheque was handed over to President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Ministry of Finance today. The ceremony saw the presence of Senior Additional Secretary to the President and Secretary to the President's Fund Sarath Kumara, along with the Principal of Mavanella Zahira Vidyalaya A.M. Naushad. Minister Harin Fernando says that although allegations are levelled against him regarding the visa issue, he is not responsible for the problem. At a press briefing held in Colombo today, the minister said that he has complained this matter to the IGP. Minister Harin Fernando said that he has written to the IGP in this regard. He said that he would lodge a complaint under the provisions of the Online Safety Act. The minister said that there have been false posts published online claiming that he is the person behind the Indian company issuing visas. The minister said that a statement he made previously that Sri Lanka's airport management operations may be outsourced to an Indian company had been confused with the recent controversy. The airports come under the purview of the Civil Aviation Authority, which comes under the ministry headed by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. Immigration, meanwhile, comes under the purview of Minister Tiran Alas. Minister Fernando said that he has no connection with either. He explained that airport management and immigration are two different fields. Minister Fernando said that he had urged the IGP to take action against those who made such false statements against him. He also said that there must be a limit to making false allegations against a person. He also added that in Sri Lanka, any issue concerning tourism is likely to attract his name.
Now, the price of domestic gas has been reduced with effect from midnight tonight. Accordingly, 12.5 kilograms litro domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 175 rupees. New price of litro domestic gas cylinder is now at 3,940 rupees. 5 kilograms litro domestic gas cylinder reduced by 70 rupees up to 1,582 rupees. A 2.3 kilogram litro domestic gas cylinder has been decreased by 32 rupees. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, said that there were several fluctuations of gas prices at the world market during the past few months. Although there is no significant decrease of prices, Litro Gas Company has decided to give this concession to the consumers. The company expects further decrease of prices in the coming months. The company has also ordered sufficient stocks of gases for the consumption of the country.
සුබවාදී බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තියෙනවා. ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපය තුලත් මේ විදියටම මිල ගණන් යම් තාක් තුනකට තවත් සහනදායී විදියට අපිට මේ මිල අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා අපි විශේෂයෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒකම ලිට්‍රෝ ගෑස් ආයතනයේ විදියට මේ අවුරුද්ද අවසාන වෙනකම්ම අවශ්‍ය ගෑස් තොග අපි මේ වෙනකොටත් ඉතාමත් ක්‍රමානුකූලව ඇනවුම් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් රටේ ඉදිරියට කිසිම ගෑස් හිඟයකින් තොරව ඉතාමත් පහසුවෙන් ගෑස් තොග අපිට නිකුත් කිරීමේ අවකාශය තියෙනවා කියන එක විශේෂයෙන් මතක් කරගන්න.
Laugh's gas company has also revised its prices. Accordingly, 12.5 domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 275 rupees up to the new price of 3,840 rupees. 5 kilograms Laugh's domestic gas cylinder is reduced by 110 rupees up to the new price of 1,542 rupees. Group Executive Manager of the Laugh's Gas Company, Dr. Niroshan J. Piri, said that there is a slight decrease of prices at the world market. On the other hand, the value of the rupee has appreciated against the US dollar at present. Therefore, the Laugh's Gas Company has decided to give this concession to the consumers. Meanwhile, the All Island Canteen Owners Association says that prices of cooked meals will be reduced in line with the decrease of gas prices. Chairman of the All Island Canteen Owners Association, Harin, said that the existing prices of rice and curry will be reduced by 20 rupees from midnight today.
The Examinations Department announces that the GCE Ordinary Level Examination will commence from Monday to the 15th of this month. Ministry of Public Security announces that the offices of the Department of Registration of Persons will remain opened from 8:30 am to 1 pm tomorrow for the convenience of GCE Ordinary Level candidates. If there are candidates who have not applied for national identity cards, they should come to the NIC offices with duly filled application forms certified by the relevant principal or the Grama Niladhari. Meanwhile, the second stage of the first term of school in 2024 ended today. The second term will begin on the 20th of May. In the meantime, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that ambassadors in Sri Lanka should approach new initiations to attract tourists and investments to the island. The Premier pointed out that since the diplomatic practices have been subject to a huge transformation, priority should be given to economic diplomacy at present. The Prime Minister made these remarks at a meeting with 9 newly elected ambassadors and high commissioners to Sri Lanka. The meeting was held at the Temple Trees today. New diplomatic agents have been elected representing Canada, Saudi Arabia, China, Poland, Sweden, Netherlands, Thailand, Vietnam and Myanmar. The Prime Minister requested from the ambassadors and high commissioners to follow the non-alignment and peace-based foreign policy strictly. The Prime Minister also requested them to promote the relationship with Sri Lanka with the help of Sri Lankans living in the respective countries. The Premier pointed out the need to obtain more investment and development cooperation for the enhancement of Sri Lanka's economy. The Prime Minister also pointed out the need to promote Buddhism and the Buddhist tourism movement.
Now, the General Secretary of the Lankan Jatika Estate Workers Union, Parliamentarian Vadivel Suresh, emphasized that both the government and the Plantation Employees Association bear the responsibility of providing wage increases to plantation workers. He made this statement during his participation in today's news conference at the Presidential Media Center under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country. Parliamentarian Vadivel Suresh expressed his gratitude to the President and the government for raising the salary of plantation workers to 1,700 rupees. However, the Plantation Employees Association is contesting the decision. The estate companies that profited greatly from the dollar value should be ashamed of themselves for not giving their workers a raise, expressing opposition to the decision to increase wages for their workers who contribute significantly to strengthen the national economy by upholding the reputation of Ceylon tea is regrettable. The decision to raise estate workers' wages was not made hesitantly, rather it followed extensive negotiations over the course of a year involving the Department of Labour, Trade Union and relevant stakeholders. He added that employees' union represently refrained from engaging in wage-fixing negotiations. Similarly, they remained silent when a salary increase of 1,000 rupees were requested. However, the Labour Commission General utilized his authority lawfully, issued a gazette notice for a salary hike of 1,700 rupees. It is unjust for the estate companies to procrastinate without providing relief to the workforce amidst fluctuations in the dollar value.
State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that the rupee has become the rapidly developing currency unit of the world. He further said that the Sri Lankan rupee has achieved a 9.1% growth against the US dollar. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that the central bank report in March states that Sri Lankan Rupee has gained a momentum against the US dollar during the first quarter. It has shown a 12.9% growth against the euro and 10.8% growth against the sterling pound. Against the Japanese yen, it is a 21% growth. That is a 9.5% growth against the Indian rupee. Sri Lankan rupee is the rapidly strengthening currency unit of the world at present. Exports of the country has marked a significant 5.7% growth during the first quarter of this year compared to the same period in the last year. The government has also eased import restrictions. The Interim Secretariat for the Truth and Reconciliation Mechanism recently concluded its public consultation in the Anuradhapura district successfully. This mechanism aims to inform the public and gather their opinions to prepare recommendations, thereby establishing a sustainable framework for fostering national unity and harmony. The Director General of the Interim Secretariat for Truth and Reconciliation Mechanism, Dr. Asanga Gunavansa, and its staff met with the Supreme Head of Sri Lanka, Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Makuleve Vimala Mahanayaka Thero, and Most Venerable Professor Attanangane Ratanapala Mahathero, and together their opinions. Discussions were also held with Bishop of Anuradhapura, Most Reverend Norbert Marshall Andradi, and Reverend Fathers including Maulavi Abdul Kayam from the Anuradhapura Jumma Mosque, and sought their recommendations, opinions and blessings regarding the ongoing tasks. Discussions were also held with various stakeholders including villagers from Nochiagama and Mahavilachia affected by the war, divisional secretaries, village officials, government officials, academic staff from Rajarat University, civil organization activists in Anuradhapura and several other individuals.
Now, the United States stressed the importance of maintaining the current economic reforms in Sri Lanka unchanged and uninterrupted that will lead to steer the economy without facing crisis in future. The USA points out the current economic reforms have led to stabilize Sri Lanka's economy at present. These facts were revealed by the Deputy Director of Under Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, Robert Caprop, in his discussion with the State Finance Minister Shehan Semasinghe in the sidelines of the 57th Annual Summit of the Asian Development Bank held in Georgia recently. The two envoys lengthily discussed the progress of Sri Lanka's debt restructuring process. Robert Caprop reassured the maximum U.S. support to Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the State Finance Minister Shehan Semasinghe also held a discussion with the Asian Development Bank Vice President for South Asian Central and Western Asia, Yingming Yang. In this discussion, they talked about the new 2024-2028 partnership and the strategic plan between Sri Lanka and the Asian Development Plan. They focused attention on the ADB's support extended to Sri Lanka's debt restructuring process and the economic reforms. Yingming Yang further focused his attention for the economic progress achieved by Sri Lanka so far. He also assured that the ADB's commitment to support Sri Lanka. The 7th meeting of the Management Board of the SAARC Development Fund was held in Georgia under the chairmanship of Sri Lanka. State Finance Minister Shehan Semasinghe expressed his gratitude to the member countries for their support extended during the past period to achieve the targets of SAARC Development Fund under the chairmanship of Sri Lanka. Bangladesh Finance Minister Abdul Hassan Mohammed Ali were elected as the next chairman of the Management Board of the SAARC Development Fund at the meeting.
A media briefing over the program to distribute rice to low-income families free of charge was held at the Government Information Department Auditorium today. District Secretaries of Colombo, Kalutura and Gampaha were present at this occasion. Of the District Secretaries joined the press briefing via Zoom technology. They expressed views regarding the malpractice reports from Haliala area recently in distributing rice. Badulla District Secretary PSP Abewardana said that 2 incidents of distributing substandard rice were reported and investigation is now underway on this matter. That mishap happened since some medium and small-scale rice mill owners had not had sufficient amount of rice bags. They have used old bags with past expiry dates. However, during the investigations, it was revealed that quality and new rice has been packed in old bags.
සහල් පිළිබඳව ඇතුළු තත්ත්වයේදී පිටබනේ සහල් සහිත හාල් මළු 7ක් පිළිබඳව අපිට තොරතුරු හඳුනා ගන්නට පුළුවන්කම ලැබුණා. ඒදී ඒ තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව අපිට යම් සැක සංකා මතුණා. එහෙම සිදුවුණේ කොහොමද කියන එක පිළිබඳව ඒ අනුව දැනට ඒ කාරණය පිළිබඳව පොලිසිය විසින් පරීක්ෂණයක් සිදු කරනු ලබනවා. ඊට අමතරව මතුණු කාරණය තමයි කල්ලිපුත්තු දින සහිත සහල් මළු තිබුණායි කියන කාරණය. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් සඳහන් කරන්නට ඕනි මේ ඇනවුම් ප්‍රමාණය ඉතා විශාල ඇනවුම් ප්‍රමාණයක් මධ්‍යම කුඩා පරිමාණයේ මෝල් හිමියන්ට තමන්ගේ සහල් දවටන එහෙම නැත්නම් මළු ප්‍රමාණවත් නොතිබීම නිසා ඔවුන් පසුගිය කාලයේ රජයේ සහල් වැඩසටහනට මුද්‍රණය කරලා තිබුණු සහල් මළු වල මේ නැව සහල් තුලත් කරලා ඒ පරණ දිනය මත අලුත් දිනය සඳහන් කර ස්ටිකර් එකක් අලවලා යම්කිසි ප්‍රමාණයක් අපිට සපයලා තිබුණා. ඒ සහල් මළු පිළිබඳව සෞඛ්‍යාංශය කරනු ලැබූ පරීක්ෂාවේදී ඒ සහල් ගුණාත්මක සහ අලුත් සහල් බව තහවුරු වුණා. කෙසේ වුණත් ජනතාව තුළ ඇති වුණු මතය පිළිබඳව අපි සලකා බලලා ඒ දිනය වෙනස් කරනව ස්ටිකර් ඇතුළත් කරලා තිබුණු සියලුම සහල් ආපසු සැපයුම් කරවන්නට ගෙන යන්නට උපදෙස් දුන්නා. ඒ අනුව ඒ සියලු දේවල් පියවත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Colombo District Secretary KG Vijayasiri said that 150,000 rice packs of 10 kilogram bags have been distributed among 150,000 families.
කළුතර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ තුල පොල් 1,31,364ක් සඳහා සහනාධාර බෙදා දීමේ
Kalathura District Secretary Ginige Prasanna said that distribution of rice subsidies being carried out for 131,364 families in the Kalathura district. Gampaha District Secretary Nalinda Gamage said that they have identified 241,623 families at the first round to distribute rice.
A scientist, philosopher and a political analyst, Professor Nalinda Silva passed away yesterday at the age of 79 years. He was a professor of mathematics department in the University of Catalonia. He held the post of Dean of the Science Faculty. He acted as the Sri Lanka's ambassador in Myanmar for some period as well. Professor Nalinda Silva was popular among the people as the pioneer of national thinking policy. He has also introduced creative relativity and physics. He was born on the 20th of October 1944 in Panadura. He followed his primary education at Bauddhaloka Mahavidyalaya and secondary education from Thurston and Royal College in Colombo. He obtained an honours degree in mathematics from Lankan University College. Professor Nalinda Silva completed his doctorate at the Sussex University. He also compiled several books.
And with that, we could take a look at a few more local news items in brief. 24 school children have been injured when two buses collided head-on at the Ampara-Hingurana road. The school bus from Ampara to Pannalgama has collided with the SLTV bus that was coming from Akkarepattu area. New Governor of the Southern Province Lakshman Yapavewardhan assumed his duties today at the Governor's office in Galle. A large number of public representatives were present at this occasion. 3 mobile courts constructed at the Angunakola Palace prison were declared open today under the patronage of Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. A significant feature of these courts is that cases can be heard online. A sum of nearly 500 million rupees under foreign aid has been spent for this project. 2 persons were killed by a road accident along the Nathandiya-Madampe main road occurred last evening. A lorry jumped off the road and knocked on a tree at the roadside. Another person critically injured is receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of the Maravilla Hospital. Police said that the accident occurred since the driver fell asleep while driving. Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka Santosh Jha engaged in a visit at the Bhadriya Jumma Mosque in Kathankudi yesterday. Dry rations were distributed among 100 families in the area during this visit. Plans have been arranged to develop the Galle Harbour as a tourism harbour. A sum of $200 million has been allocated for this purpose. Two breakwaters at a length of 850 meters and 150 meters respectively will be constructed. The harbour will be deepened by 12.3 meters. A preliminary discussion regarding the environmental and other problems of this project was held at the Ministry of Ports and Aviation yesterday. Ministers Nimal Siripala de Silva, Dr. Ramesh Pathiran and Pavitra Vanyarachi were present at this discussion. Police dispersed the protest started at the Vihara Mahadevi Park premises by the medical students. Police attacked them with water cannons. That's all the local news items we have for you. Stay tuned with us for news from overseas coming your way after this short break. And in foreign news, Turkey suspended all trade with Israel over its offensive in Gaza, citing the worsening humanitarian tragedy in the Strip.
The Turkish Trade Minister stated that the measures would be in place until Israel allowed an uninterrupted and sufficient flow into the Gaza. Trade between the two countries worth almost $7 billion recorded last year. Israel Foreign Minister accused Turkish President Recep Erdogan for his authoritarian behavior regarding the matter. He further added that he had instructed the Foreign Ministry to find alternatives for trade with Turkey with a focus on local production and imports from other countries. Israel had come under increasing criticism for worsening humanitarian condition in Gaza Strip. A UN-backed assessment stated last month that 1.1 million people were facing catastrophic hunger, that famine was imminent in northern Gaza by May.
Staff and visitors were left stranded and buildings were submerged at Kenya's famous Masai Mara Nature Reserve as the death toll in catastrophic flooding in the country's southwest rose to at least 188 people. Local authorities instructed some tourist facilities in the National Reserve to close after River Talik, one of the tributaries of the Mara River, burst its banks. Then it swept through more than a dozen riverside tourist lodges and camps. Some buildings and vehicles fully submerged inside the popular park as tourists scrambled to leave affected areas. 2 more bodies were retrieved from the site of the mudslide, bringing the total number of deaths up to 50. Government revised and decreased the earlier figure of 71 deaths reported due to an error.
Now, the death toll from heavy rains in Brazil's southern Rio Grande do Sul state had climbed with 29, with at least 60 people missing, according to the state's civil defense agency. Authorities in Rio Grande do Sul declared state of emergency as rescuers continue to search for dozens of people reported missing among the ruins of collapsed homes, bridges and roads. Rescuers and soldiers were scrambling to free families trapped in their homes, as many stranded on rooftops to escape rising waters. Nearly 150 municipalities in the state were affected by flood, and 36 people were injured and displaced more than 10,000. Governor stated that Rio Grande do Sul was dealing with the worst ever disaster in its history, adding that the number of deaths were expected to rise further.
A mass fish die-off in a reservoir in southern Vietnam's Dong Nai province was attributed to shed a new light on soaring temperatures in Southeast Asia. Fishermen were working to wade through and collect the hundreds of thousands of dead fish that blanketed the 300-hectare Song Me reservoir amid a ferocious heat wave. Intense drought swept through Vietnam South in April as temperatures soared to nearly 40 degrees Celsius, leaving farmers struggling to keep their crops alive. Community members and local media were blaming the drought, heat wave and problems with the reservoir's management as contributing factors. The water in the lake was reportedly too low for the animals to survive, as there was no rainfall for weeks in the area. In sports news, Yupun Abekon won the third place at the final feat of the 100 meters men's running event at the Grand Prix Athletics Tournament in Dubai. This event has been organized as a qualifying tournament for Paris Olympics. 4 Sri Lankan athletes are taking part in this tournament. Yupun Abekon secured the third place with a time of 10.18 seconds. Nadisha Ramanayaka won the silver medal at the final feat of the 400 meters women's running event. Tarushi Karuna Ratna and Gantika Be Ratna are scheduled to take part in the 800 meters women's running event tonight.
والهندية السريلانكية تأتي نديشة الآن تحاول أن تتقدم أداء جدا ممتاز لهذه المجموعة ليزا إذا هي من تتقدم ومعها أيضا عفوا إذا ليزا تصل إلى 53.
And on to some cricket. The team yellow headed by Vanidu Hasaranga recorded victory at the tournament to select the Sri Lankan squad for the T20 World Cup cricket tournament. They recorded this victory against the team red led by Charit Asalanka.
Sri Lanka cricket has already named the preliminary squad for the World Cup cricket tournament. It has also decided to conduct a selection tournament among the players of this squad. The players have been divided into 3 teams. Vanidu Hasaranga, Charit Asalanka and Janit Liyanage lead the 3 teams. The first match was played yesterday between Team Yellow and Team Red at the R. Premadasa Cricket Stadium in Colombo. Batting first, Team Yellow scored 225 runs for 3 wickets in their 20 overs. Kusal Mendy scored 100 runs not out in 50 balls. Siobhan Daniels scored 59 runs. In reply, Team Red only scored 200 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. Kamindu Mendes scored 82 runs and Charit Asalanka scored 35 runs. In bowling, Dunit Wellalage claimed 3 wickets for 39 runs. Accordingly, Team Yellow won the match by 25 runs. And that's all the stories for tonight. Do join us tomorrow for more of the very latest. Until then, good night.
Good night.